Hello, this is Kev, and this broadcast has been brought to you by Common Sense. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. In the name of common sense, common sense is not that common, and you know, a lot of us um, seem to be lacking. So this is what's important to me when I come to these YouTube streets is to deliver a common sense message with life experience, of course. Um, and you can take with a grain of salt or you can benefit from it. So, okay then, let's get to it. Greetings, and long live the habitual line steppers. What's going on, Toya? Welcome to the program. Welcome to the program. Um, yeah, generational cursing. Um, yeah, I thought of this one earlier today as I was frolicking about in life. You know, if frolic is something a hetero black man does. But I was just for context purposes, it was a hetero thing at the time, so I don't want to hear all that bullshit. But generational cursing. Now, is this going to be a conversation about the cycle of single motherhood? Um, it this could apply. It could apply. It could apply. I mean, it would be within context. But the context I'm speaking of mainly tonight is I'm going to focus on the past four generations. Well, the past three and the current. Um, I'm going to focus on the baby boomers, the Gen X, Generation X, millennials, and Gen Z. Because I mean, it's like there's so many ways to divide us as a people. We need to understand and realize how these things are breaking us down. and we need to take the little problems in steps one by one. And although this is going to sound like a complete word salad, please be patient and please try to follow me on this. This is, like I said, um, my experience, my common sense experience and thoughts, and this is the reason that the audience that I do have, and the viewers and the people who watch, hit the thumbnail when they get the time. This is who these are the kind of broadcasts that are for those people. It's like it's and I've learned this, through common sense, that it is a lot easier to build an audience upon the names of others, which I'm not taking anything from anyone, because if that works for you, that works for you. It's no sweat off my back. I wish all of you continued success. I do. I do, but sometimes things get a little tiresome, and I like to kind of bring my own kind of take to the forefront. And I mean, you can either say that it was an intelligent, mature take, or you can say it was a dumbass take. Believe me, some conversations I've heard out here, in this space, I have to be the brutally honest one. Yeah, there were some dumbass takes on some things, but there were also some very intelligent takes as well. So this is how we do things around here. So chat mods, as people participate in the chat, uh, we do everyone. We do everyone. It was a suggestion made to me last week, um, by a guy that I had to make a chat moderator. That we were just gonna go just free, brutally honest with everybody. That's how the chat does it. Like I said, unless they say some really crazy shit, like something about murdering babies or some shit like that, or eating kids, or like some just so off the wall that it just the comment doesn't even show up. You can time those people out. You can block those people. You're free reign with that. Especially if I do see it. But outside of crazy shit, you are allowed to say whatever you want, even if they're kind of disrespectful toward me. Now, the person that's always going to have supreme say so is me, of course. I get to time out anybody I want, and there doesn't have to be a reason to justify it. That's just what it is. That's reality. That's brutally honest, and I fully expect that kind of treatment when I go to other people's channel as well. I don't just expect to just walk in somewhere, just flash my balls all over the place, and expect nothing to happen. And this is where we start kind of diving into the subject matter. Here's a problem. I'm bringing it up again. Boomers, Gen X, millennials, Gen Z. Now, we're talking about the black community. Community, melanated, not a community, whatever. We're not, I'm talking about melanated folks. You know what the fuck I'm talking about when you watch this program. Period. I don't want any. I don't want none of that little smart ass gaslighting bullshit that everyone said. You know what a fucking black person is. Not Kamala Harris. Let's just say that. It's one problem I see very frequently with boomers and Gen Xers and millennials and Gen Z is the inability to accept the truth. Women's lib is everyone's liberation. Mm. You know, and I'm not saying that all of us, all of us may have a little touch of this. I'm not saying that everybody 100% in each group is like this. I want this audience to understand this. It's not a 100% of anything. No one is ever 100% of anything. What's going on, Josh Johnson? No one is 100% of anything. So don't think I'm ever saying that. Cause because there's so much, like, gaslighting is becoming a regular thing. Gaslighting is a way for people to get out of the argument. So nobody's 100% anything when I say this. Please try to understand, when I say that, we have a hard time accepting shit. We make up realities at this point. We can't see a melanated person's point of view. Mostly, maybe 75. I would say, I wouldn't even say it was 90 to 100%, but 75 to 85%. And that's what the divide is. Each one of these groups got their own truth, and they're all clashing. I mean, there's stuff to blame for. There's stuff I blame the previous generations for, and I feel like the younger crowd has every right to be upset about this. It's like there were things put in place, believe me, that would have made it a very violent outcome, but it then went from violent to impossible at this point. Rogish, what's going on? Stick around, buddy. I mean, at this point, it's almost futile. We got to creep with this shit now. it's and I've said this before. It's too much technology out here. How will we do it if we can't get rid of the divides that keep killing any chance we have? I'm not here to tell the younger generation what to do. I'm not here to do it. I'm just here to make suggestions. I'm not here to tell the older people what to do. I'm just here to make suggestions. But if you run into that fire and think you're not gonna get burned, hey, it's not my fucking fault that I'm sitting back and, like, away from the fire. I had something much cooler, but I kind of it flew off. Much cooler to say on that. Then you know what I mean. Don't blame me. Don't blame me if you fuck up. I've let it go as a Gen Xer, and I'm kind of favored toward Gen X. Yeah, I'm a part of Gen X. What am I gonna say? Gen S sucks. Gen X is the sucky ass generation. No, I'm not gonna say that shit. I will say your generation sucks before I will. Like, it's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna tell you that Generation X sucks. There's some suck people in it, but it mostly to me just doesn't suck. I'm just saying. We knew who we were as a. We weren't confused about who we were. We were very direct about it, and you kind of like, if you went off the path a little bit, then we kind of like, huh? The hell you doing? I give you an example. Hair weave. Seriously, Gen Xers, most of us, if not all, before all of this bullshit, we made fun of that shit, men and women. Now it's like, with what's going on now, it's like you go out the path a little bit is because you advocate for natural hair. Now see how things flip from generation to generation. Now, we all have something to be mad about. I can be mad about how the previous generation didn't set us up, didn't fortify us, didn't push a little bit harder. All they did is sign their name on the dotted line and everything was okay. Most of us didn't appreciate that we had to be taught to, you know, go get a full 10-year school. And this is nothing against people who are educated. I'm not here to call you a lame. But they tell you that you have this basic layout: school, job. That's basically what it is. Two layouts: school, job. Is don't matter how you get there. Just school and job. School, college is school. They don't tell you that. They just tell you to get the education and go as far as you can. They don't tell you that, hey, you know what? If you ain't got the money saved up, which is a few, tens of thousands of dollars, they don't tell you that until you get there. I mean, you better be one of the smartest kids and shoot for a scholarship. But they don't tell you that if you don't have all of that, you're gonna have to borrow the money, and it's gonna have so much fucking interest on it. You're gonna be able to pay for like 3 or 4 cars within all of that shit. 3 or 4 expensive cars, maybe five. They don't tell you that. They just tell you that, hey, you know what? School, college, expensive ass college, and then you work a job to pay that college back while trying to sustain a lifestyle, a life of debt. Because someone you supposedly trusted told you that was the only fucking way. Oh yeah, and don't be offended, Christians. I don't say that as smug. I do believe in a higher power. I haven't thrown it away completely, but I have questions. You go to church every Sunday, pray for everything, go to school forever, get a good job, and live happily ever after. That was the understanding. It was nothing more than a metaphorical security blanket. So you won't realize certain things. I mean, at least that's how I see it. You can see it a different way. And I understand. There are, like I said, people in every group, boomers included, understand this. But shit, a life of debt. And as a black man, what the previous have done to, yes, what the previous generation has done to younger black men. It's like, let me tell you, like, I've got all kinds of messages. And I mean, it was difficult to fight them off because it was like I would try this shit that people that I trusted said, and it didn't work for me. Kareem, not Karen. What's going on? I didn't. It didn't work for me. I don't know. I figured that, and I decided this. I figured that life had to be more creative. That what if there was another way? What if you showing me some shit that worked for someone else? And I know many of you feel this way. I'm not trying to project my life story on you so I can feel better about myself. Hell, but I will sit here and tell you that I am not a perfect human being, and I listen to a lot of bullshit that came from people that I was supposed to trust. People I loved, older people, you know, that was telling me a bunch of bullshit that only worked for them in very, 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 very small gains. And I get it. I get you. I get the rage from the younger ones. But see, in all of that, I'm from Gen X. So I don't allow motherfuckers to be smart asses with me. I don't give a fuck who you are. And I expect everyone I'm surrounded by to have that same attitude. I'm not like a lot of you. I don't fuck with people and then, just gaslight when they try to come back at me. Oh, oh my God, you're so sensitive. Why are people so sensitive when I say dumb shit? A lot of you out there are like that, especially millennials. Let's just go ahead and face it, man. Hey, a lot of that fucking with that the millennials face, you deserve that shit. You asked for it. And then the easiest thing to get out of it is a gaslight. Why are these older people always after us? I'll tell you a problem with millennial and Gen Z. I'll tell you a problem with y'all. Y'all think writing letters and ruining people's lives solves problems. And then you go out there and complain about people shooting up places. It's like, how did this happen? Nigga, y'all writing letters and ruining livelihoods. You can't philosophically beat anyone just fair and square. I'm not like I said, there's dicks in every fucking generation. I'm not putting it all off on the millennials and the and the Gen Zs, but I don't know too many like Gen X's that's quick to write a letter though. Shit, y'all came up with sayings like, "I'm literally shaking right now. I am literally shaking." Like just barely write the letter and shit because your feelings got hurt. They want to go on smear campaigns about everybody that piss you off. Instead of just, calming the fuck down and handling shit philosophically. A lot of you, I'm just, let me stop, like, the tangent is getting too negative. I'm trying to watch my negativity. But, some shit is just messed up. I didn't cause the division. I didn't say, hey guys, don't like each other. I didn't say that shit. You know what I'm saying? I didn't tell the boomers to tell the Gen did not prepare the Gen Xers and piss off the millennials and oh no, Gen Z don't know what the fuck they want to be or what the fuck they doing sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's hard, man, because the reason for this is because this structure, that's our identity is fucked. It's fucked, and it's just getting worse from generation to generation, and it just sucks looking at it. It just does. I can sit up here and make fun of millennials all day, for writing letters and shit. So what I'm saying, you know. But I would never say they fucked up shit. Shit was fucked up for them. They just took it in a fucked up way. Hell, not all heat is off Gen X. I hung around a bunch of stupid niggas growing up that were my age. Hung out, not be like. I was a guy they made fun of for being calm and not sticking my dick in everything. I was that guy. The voice of reason. Hey guys, don't fight. Shit, she's crying. What are you doing? Yeah, I was that guy. I was a Gen X numbnut. I didn't have too many battle scars. I spent a lot of my teenagerdom playing video games. Shit. Shit. Skirt chasing and stuff. Yeah, I had crushes. I watch TV. I watch a little bit of TV. So I know what TV can do to you. I know what TV can do to you. TV can present a fantasy. TV can almost trick you into believing that you're not good enough to be as good as anyone on that TV. You had the basic layout fantasy of the crush. So, with that being said, that is an unrealistic expectation. And if you are still experiencing this at the age of 35, I don't know what the fuck to say for you. The shit's fucked up. But, it's like you live and you learn. You live and you learn. But, aside from all that, I was the guy trying to talk common sense into stupid niggas. I didn't see it that way back then. I thought I was being the good guy. I was always called the good guy. Now we're talking about Gen X. I mean, I'm making Gen X accountable. That's what I'm doing. But a lot of us Gen Xers thought it was cooler to be the stupid nigga. You know, and I'm not putting it all off on NWA. The rap group. I'm putting it on Human Choice because that's how it was presented to us back then. There was no internet like that. I mean, not I mean, internet came in with us, so I mean, I ain't gonna totally dismiss there was no internet in Gen X. I mean, yeah, internet was definitely in Gen X, but not to the capacity that it is today. I'm talking about like when I was 13, 14. All we had was TV. This was my experience in Montgomery, Alabama. I don't have that larger city mentality like New York or in Los Angeles or Chicago or Miami. Places like that, with how they presented on TV, they were always amazing to us, and it was some very big shit to shoot for. And the strongest of us got through that shit, but a lot of us didn't. A lot of us shot low very early, and that could have kind of had an effect and an impact on the way the millennials came in. A lot of black boys with stupid ass older brothers, stupid ass uncles. You know what I'm saying? Like can't bullshit the whole thing away. You know what I'm saying? Like it can't be a complete comedy show. This kind of thing is serious. This generational cursing that we keep doing to ourselves. We already. Let me put it to you like this. I understand that there are younger people who are successful that have somewhat of a conservative type viewpoint, and that's Gen X as well. Like once you make a little money, then you have removed yourself from the experience of racism. Ah man, niggas stop complaining about racism. But understand this: the reason why there's no really generational shit going is because that we did start behind it in this country. But see, here's what y'all keep missing in between that message: all the shit and all the human choices we have made in between that to divide ourselves. And the shit really goes way deeper than it goes deeper than tough on crime era. It goes deeper than feminism. It goes deeper than even the civil rights movement or Jim Crow. Even deeper than slavery. All of that shit is involved to a big picture. And it plays into what I'm talking about. It's human choice at this point. It's human choice. In 2021, it's human choice. Everybody says stop blaming WS. Yeah, blame WS. Yeah, go ahead. You can blame all of that shit. I mean, it'll sound like a broken record, but you can't discount any of that. You can't discount the fact that a lot of us, well, we should be resentful that we weren't prepared by the previous generations, but hey, what the fuck can you do about it at this point? Shit, complain about a bunch of dead folks? Shit. I'm just sitting back here at this point. It's like, wow. I don't know if we ever figure it out. I just don't. I'm just here to kind of keep everything afloat. Not by myself, of course. Can't give myself the Jesus complex. That's kind of shooting big. You know what I'm saying? And that. So, all right. Let me remind you guys, if you're watching, if you have not done it yet, to please hit that like button, or you can hit that dislike button. That might get you a little surprise. And most importantly, if it's your first time here, please hit that subscribe button and hit your notifications. Hit all notifications. All right, cool. Back to the topic. We shouldn't blame each other for shit. This is one of those. Like I said, for those people, for those people who tune in to me every week or hit the thumbnail, this broadcast is for you, all of you, because I know I kind of believe that you guys may understand me a little bit. You know, I'm an old guy, an old father mucker. Yeah, according to the standard of the people, of course, that we deal with on our day-to-day lives. I mean, 45 is very old. I'm knocking at death's door. I don't believe that to be true, but I mean, I get people saying all kinds of shit. No, especially more like when you get down into millennial Gen Z. I don't even really exchange too many thoughts with Gen Z. It's just I always feel like I got to give them advice or some shit. Even if it ain't my place, I just kind of like, it's just like that. That's just my attitude with Gen Z, and um, here's the thing. Here's the thing. There's enough damage that's already been done. I mean, I'm not trying to get younger people to, restore their faith in humanity or in the black person or whatever. I'm just saying is that at a Gen Z point from a Gen Xer, it's just there's real world impact there. I mean, it's not a I'm gonna spar with you verbally or insult you, even if you are insulting me. If you're Gen Z and you're insulting me, I'm just, I mean, like the young man, the young lady, you're confused. I mean, that's just about what it is. I mean, I'm just like, I don't let anyone disrespect me. I always find a way out of it. But it's like, as far as Gen Z, I'll still try to steer them in a positive direction if I can. Now, if it's just too much, I just cut off the conversation and just kind of, dismiss them and, hope they learn some kind of way. I mean, even if I had nothing to teach them. So it's not like I don't have respect for the mental acumen of Gen Zs. It's just that, look, what does it look like if I argue with someone half my age? Guaranteed half my age. It's not a very good look. I mean, they may have some thoughts to offer. I will listen. I respect anyone's opinion, but this fought back and forth. No, nope, 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 nope. Yeah, millennials. I like to mess with millennials because they think they so defensive about their millennial shit. I'm like, what the fuck, man? It's like millennial. It just sounds like It sounds like such an SJW word. Like it's supposed to be some kind of movement that comes with a pair of headphones and a very small music player. Like it's that's what it is. It's like for me, millennial. It's like I didn't even halfway know what it was because I kept hearing it. And I kept hearing it. And I kept hearing it, and then then I realized that the friends that I had were millennials, kind of. You know, I was like, God damn, because they had these views like I don't know, they like MTV reality shows. I mean, after the Real World 2, I pretty much checked out. The season with David. I don't know if any of you remember or even that deep in the game, but the one where that dude David got kicked out because he pulled the cover off Tammy. Tammy, who would then go on to be reality television star herself yelling and shit and making y'all sisters look bad and all that other stuff. But that y'all don't like to hear us say, but it's fucking true. Because I'm a Gen Xer that doesn't give a fuck. I will tell you. But yeah, I ain't watched. Like I checked out after that season. Yeah, I was just like, I ain't doing this shit. Then I noticed my millennial friends will watch shit like Jersey Shore. Now, when I say millennial, I was talking about like I would say the age difference is like 5 6 years. Is it? No, no, no. It's not 5 6. Yeah. Well, yeah, like 6 7 years. It's like 6 7 years. Yeah. It ain't that far off the rail. They watching shit like Jersey Shore, and I didn't understand that shit. I didn't give a fuck about no Snooky. Snooky had some yams. I noticed that. But all them other motherfuckers, like, who's the other guy, Paulie, they ain't give a fuck about that shit. I was like, damn, why y'all like this shit? And then Starbucks came in the picture. I was like, the fuck? It's inside that bookstore, Barnes and Nobles. I'm going to get a Frappuccino. What the fuck is a Frappuccino? This was this was like late. This was like 1999, 2000. What the fuck is a Frappuccino? I don't give a like. What the fuck y'all doing? Shit. I mean, damn, motherfuckers good though. I mean, in 2021, I just tried some things since those years. Uh, well, one of which is Frappuccinos and McFlurries and shit like that. But anyway, that was just what it is. The thought processes are way different, and they seem like that they're at a huge scale of resentful. So I have a tendencies to mess with millennials quite frequently, just to hear them say some stupid shit like "Okay, boomer." I was like, you skipped the generation, jackass. Gen X, motherfucker. Okay, boomer. Yeah, I so enjoy conversation sometimes. Other times, if I know you and I see you in Walmart, I might try to cover my eyes and turn that corner. Ken, what you doing, man? Damn. But it's not after everything that has happened. I would say it's not our place per se as Gen Xers to tell millennials and Gen Z and boomers what to do, and vice versa and versa vice and all the other bullshit. But we can make fun of you when you do stupid ass shit like write letters about hurt feelings and oh my god, Disney Corporation. My name is Tanner. Like, yeah, we have a right to say what the fuck we want. And the inability to accept another one's point of view based on whatever. Now, like the religious debate, I'm gonna kind of stay away from that. Even though it's had a impact. So if there is a panelist that will come to this platform tonight that wants to get into the religious stuff, then they can. I'll say this: I respect people's beliefs, but if it's ineffective, that's something that you shouldn't keep trying to push. I would say, kind of have a spiritual base. I believe everyone needs a spiritual base, but if it's not their path, it's not their path. You can't come up with any kind of. I mean, people have testimony, people have evidence, people have strange happenings that they cannot explain that were super positive, and we will have a tendency to call that God. And it has been so hammered into us, spirituality and Christianity and the existence of a supreme being that watches over us and gives us free will and guides us with our choices. And, you know, it's my thing is I don't like to treat that as an escape. And one thing we taught our people is that that's an escape. Let it go. Things will be okay. And then positive things start to happen. I've heard several people say that. And like I said, and there's all these possibilities. Okay, if that's the case, that's the case. If he sent his son to come save us, then that's the case. But help yourself. Do it for yourself. Give it a good effort. Go down, know if you're going down, because we get these understandings, and we trick ourselves into believing that it's guaranteed when it's not. They tell you nothing is guaranteed. So what if things went the other way? That's the scenario you need to be prepared for. Isn't and a lot of us from previous generations have been taught that we had to slow our lives down and wait for something to happen if we put our hands together and did that enough to convince ourselves that there are no problems. Why is it that fucking easy? How is it that easy? Why would someone teach something like that and pass it down from generation to generation? Meanwhile, everyone around you prospers. Not. Then this. I'm not talking about Kev personally. No. Don't be like, oh man, it's your fault. I know I'm accountable for my life. Talking about us as a collective. However you feel like you need to be divided, generation. If you're a black female that feels like that black female has separate problems, that's bullshit. But go ahead. This includes all of us. Those of us who made it out act like that all these problems ain't no longer with us. I mean, it's ineffective to sit around and complain about it. This is some believe that it's ineffective to put your hands together every Sunday morning and just believe that it's coming to you. Not trying to not trying to destroy any possible blessing that any of you are going to receive, but it's nice. It's a nice concept, I would say. I would say that I've been lucky, and if there is an unseen force out there that is guiding me from day to day and keeping me from possibly killing myself in some accidental way, or something very bad happening financially or something, then I thank that unseen force. I do. But you gotta understand the lack of trust. You gotta understand the lack of trust. Viscount Lavelle, thank you for the super chat support from a boomer. Hashtag LLTHLS. That of course means long live the habitual line steppers. That's something that's something that caught on. Yeah, from the mind of a Gen Xer. And like I said, I'm not discounting. I'm not discounting any of us. I'm saying we're all kind of responsible for this. I mean, we can play the blame game, and the only thing that's going to make for is interesting conversation, and that's it. It doesn't have to be productive, but as long as we have a start. Because, I get kind of tired of ninjas dismissing everything. Acting like if we go with this blueprint, the democratic system of doing things, pun intended, Yeah, they taught us that if we voted Democrat, everything will be cool. The lucky thing is we're not too far removed from it, so we can still make the choice not to vote. We'll vote with our conscience and not have to vote one way. I mean, but if you do believe that voting Democrat is what's best for you and it serves your interest, then go right ahead and do it. What I'm saying is, black people ain't number two anymore. Like for everything that I would say that, and this is across the board, that we say that is a problem. For everything we say that is a problem, we sure give our power away. Not that we have to. I'm not even saying that we have to operate. We can't do things and not be able to operate within the system because, like, let me tell y'all something right now. It's a little late. We're a little late for a bunch of things. That's why the ultimate solution, and this is something that a lot of you aren't willing to do, no matter what, but this is not bad advice I'm about to give you. The ultimate solution is human choice. Just choose not to fuck things up any further. The shit we already fucked up, sorry. There's a small inkling and a possibility that we can fix it, but that inkling is getting smaller every day. It's like I'm sitting up here holding my thumb and my index finger in a very narrow little space, giving a very narrow little space, and that space is getting more narrow. Some people think it's already pinching, but still, as long as you got people out there that is willing to stay the path and fight the good fight, you got a lot of mess out here. As long as you got people, and okay, let's say there's 100 mess makers and two people out here that's fighting a good fight. It's still a fight. It's still a fight. Not everything is too late. You just got to kind of move a little bit, kind of a little slower. I'm just saying it'll work, but it's look, y'all got to help me grow this channel. Like shit, y'all, yeah, like forever, whoever watching, help me grow this shit, man. Seriously, it's like Roger's getting an effective message out. Man, he pretty good over there. He good, and he's getting better, and I'm proud to see it because I saw it a long time ago. And to Roger's credit, he's pretty original. But hey, I'm kind of like him. If I hang out with you, that means I know you're cool. Yeah, man. It's just but hey, just we got to get more powerful. And I know for nights like this, especially like there's a fight on right now. There's a UFC fight, and I think there's a boxing match too. You know, I'm not supposed to worry about whatever other content creator is on. That should not. I mean, my thing is to figure out how I can convince you guys that I'm better than them. That's my job. If I'm not doing my job, then hey, it shows. But thank goodness for me, a few of you obviously know the real. So it's cool, man. It's cool, but it's just like, look, we need to get more common sense thought out here. Yep. KP from KC5. You fucks with us, man. Cool guy. He's very level in the chat. Yep, UFC and boxing is on. Yeah. Hopefully Kamaru Usman beats the snot out of Kobe Covington, but you never can tell. Um, I was one of those guys that was really disappointed when Chris Weidman I said beat it, shit, uh, beat Anderson Silva, and they called the guy All American, which was, I was like, ugh. But hey, fight is a fight. Anderson Silva smoked Tito Ortiz not too long ago in a boxing match. I was like, that shit wasn't even there was no fighting chance in that. It looked like damn Anderson Silva was in prime condition back in the UFC. But hey, should okay that the meme I showed at the beginning. Should we just be resentful toward each other and say, hey, you know what, fuck you, I'm doing my thing? I mean, if you want to, but I mean, just because you can, it doesn't necessarily mean you should. I mean, it's not common sense for the shit that you complain about. There's not a whole lot of shutting the fuck up on either side. So I know people want to talk about these kinds of things from anybody. It's not like whatever the viewpoint is, wherever the grievance lies. You know, it's just like, yeah, there's a whole lot of guys that I would love to address in a negative manner in the space, in the manosphere. But there's enough of that shit for now. And on the outskirts of the space, I'm not just like, I'm not gonna be one of those guys. Oh God, just shake my finger in the manosphere and not look at all the haters. They're saying ridiculous ass shit. They're catching on. It's catching on because a lot of that is birthed from. A lot of that is birthed from. I need to see what that is about. Summer Walker, anyone? Tatiana, what? Like, see, that's me being a Gen Xer, not being in the loop. Something happened on the internet with Summer Walker, didn't it? But what I was saying was all these little hater factions, that's a product of not being built on a solid foundation. Now, what? Now, what did I miss as a Gen Xer that I should have built for millennials and Gen Zs? You know, the charge really is we were creating all this single mother stuff. Like, this is black men that we created a bunch of single mothers, and we were trying to tell the younger crowd to gotta get a single mother, or you know all of the stock just was screwed up, and a lot of it had to do with niggas with money, and it's like the Pookie thing. I mean, I don't like to too much put this on the Pookie thing because there were jocks in high school that was doing the same thing to girls, getting them girls pregnant. Then they low key paying for an abortion because they were embarrassed. Like, y'all don't give a fuck today, but back then, it was that kind of thing going on. Yeah, you probably put the failure on of marriage on the Gen Xers. I'm just throwing a softball. I'm just throwing a softball. I'm not even talking about interracial. I'm not talking about none of that shit. I'm just talking about, like, we decommitted the commitment. Sure, there were some marriages that came out of Gen X and everything, but it just wasn't. It just didn't seem like it was one of our strong suits. I mean, the birth of red pill ideologies. See, that's why I don't like when they call shit like NWA gangster rap. I mean, they had the gangster uniform, like, just because it's a Los Angeles Raiders cap doesn't mean that it has to be a gang uniform, but that's what happened when you're in a small city. that does nothing but rely on media for trends. Yeah, the birthplace of red pill ideologies, and as an after effect of shit that came before it. Now, did feminism have an impact? Yeah, it did. But hey, you know what? Human choice. Human fucking choice. The one thing no one ever wants to ever fucking talk about. They're happening because of dad. They're happening because of dad. Gaslight, gaslight, gaslight. No, bitch. Human choice. Sir Anthony, what's going on? Listening from the clouds, feeling under the weather. Get some rest, man. Get some rest. Dude, I mean, shit. I'm not private in this broadcast. I mean, unless some crazy shit happens, so the rest of you can tune in. But for Sir Anthony, man, go ahead, man. Get you some rest, bro. Hey, man, oh, that's like shit. We as black men, we have to be ever so observant of our health. You know, sometimes I feel like I need to take my own advice on that. Like shit, like I was, man, like Monday night. Let me tell you something. Monday night show lasts 30 minutes. Now, I'm not saying that that's an excuse in there, but I'm just saying I spent the next 3 days sleeping. Like I was up for maybe 2, 3, 4 hours at a time sometimes, but it was like I would wake up sometimes and like after 2 hours I'll just fuck this. So I mean I feel pretty good now. I mean it was just I guess that my body was that's when people say stuff like, oh, your body's trying to tell you something, you know, maybe you need to slow the fuck down a little bit, and that's basically what I had to do. I had to slow the fuck down. That comes with age, because see, when you're Gen X, you realize that you're aging. See, boomer, they didn't age, and they're like, okay, fuck it, let's make this process as easy as possible, you know. Gen X, we just realizing that shit. Oh boy. I mean, my beard has been gray for a minute though, since before I turned 40. I mean, it was salt and peppery at 39, but I mean, it's more gray than ever. And then my hair is the top of my scalp is. I mean, it's still fully intact. It's not thinning. It's like 98% black. I got a few, sprinkles of gray. Yeah, and you know what? As a kid, I thought, you know what? Wouldn't it be cool if I just had a gray beard or just black top? And it fucking happened. Yeah. And I know there's a millennial out there right now. Oh man, I'm glad I'm this. Man, these old nigga, these Gen X, goddamn Gen X nigga, old nigga. And I'm like, cool. You have a right to feel that way, sir. Shit. I mean, don't just believe that I'm just gonna crumble into ash right before you. I mean, don't go that far just yet. But shit, I mean, say what you want to say. But don't be that kind of millennial that's kind of gonna be like and when I say something back, oh man, you so sensitive, goddamn, man, since when, since yeah, like millennials be making these kind of broadcasts like into space like, since when did we get so sensitive? Yeah, it's kind of like they be dragging Gen Z into their shit too. I want to be nothing like these old niggas. I mean, shit, y'all need support systems. Now, like I said, and this is for Toya, the tutor. There are some millennials that are cool, just like there are some Gen Xers that are bad. You know, I'll call a Gen Xer out. I'm like, hey, bro, a little cooler, man. Just a little bit. Turn it down just a little bit. You know, I understand that, a couple of 4th of Julys, people pop firecrackers around you by surprise. But it's okay. Cool down. Cool down, man. Gen X. You know, ain't like I walk around just saying Gen X. I mean, y'all don't say it enough. It's straight from boomer to millennial. Hurry up and buy. Can't see in red. Sup, Kev? Chicks dig the gray beard. Hey, well, just in case you haven't noticed, like kind of the way I speak, I'm pretty much out of that game. Uh, kind of tied the knot a few years ago. But hey, they can look. They can look all day. Because see, Kev allows you to have great taste in men out there, ladies. So I'll say that. Okay. Yeah. Oh, it's been an hour. I've been talking for an hour. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Why? Because it's a black man being brutally honest. That's why. All right. From the mind of a Gen Xer, this is Kev. And I believe I'm about to open up this panel. You know. And for you trolls out there, I got an overlay so you can, you know what, you can do whatever. So, do whatever. You can make sounds, but you can make all the fucking sounds you want, but nobody will see you. So, okay, let me see. Maybe I should have ate dinner before I went on the air, but it'll be there afterwards. And no, somebody made a Color Purple reference earlier today in reference to like washing dishes and folding clothes. What like I didn't want to go into the whole like generational thing when it came to women because I ain't gonna lie, y'all all over the place. I don't know what the fuck to think about y'all sometimes. I mean, it's I could say oh man, it's the younger women, and then the older women say some stupid shit. I'm like, oh god, those are blurred lines. I got respect for my sisters, but the ones that command respect. If you make an ass of yourself, you get treated like a man that makes an ass of himself. You're just an ass. So let's just make that clear. So anyway, boom, and there you go. Just keep it, just keep it cool, but also keep it a buck if you come up here. But anyway, let's get back on with it. Yeah, this conversation is generational cursing. Yep, generational cursing. And speaking of cursing, I would say that's more of a Gen X thing. Boomers act like they were scared to cuss at one point. They're actually the guys that try to teach me that, if you curse, you have a limited vocabulary. And then, I will say something like, "Saith what? How can you consciously figure that I have such a limited acumen and vocabulary because I use profane words like shit, damn, fuck, bullocks, boulder dash? How can you say my vocabulary is limited? I can say lots of things." Shoot. See, that's what I ain't get, man. And I mean, like, you know what though? I tell you what, I had that part that little phase in my life where I got tired of people telling me how it used to be back in the day. I got tired of that shit because those are my young weed smoking days. So on back then, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that shit. So, But I'll tell you this, and this is advice for the younger ones. And it's like I said, this advice you got to take. Some of that stuff I wish I'd have listened to. One thing I would say that happened from generation to generation is we didn't trust each other. We didn't trust each other at all. That was very big within our group. I mean, millennials were less affected by it because they had a chance to learn and to grow and do better. So, and a lot of them did. I mean, I got to get to them. A lot of millennials are on their grind. You know, I've learned quite a few things from millennials. I can't do nothing but be proud of a lot of them. Seriously, they do their thing aggressively. I mean, you can respect it or you can not respect it, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm sorry. A lot of millennials are on their shit, and a lot of Gen X and a lot of boomers are upset about that shit. No, let me stop bullshitting. I'm trying to make millennials feel too fucking good. No, that ain't it. Here's the real. Here's the brutal honesty. You guys are smart asses. That's why boomers and Gen X kind of look at y'all. A lot of you are brutally honest. I will give you that. Some of you are logical. But the thing that pisses me off most about a lot of you is that when you insult people, and this depends on generation to generation. When you insult people, you think nobody's supposed to respond. That's really stupid. That's some dumb shit right there. It's like, dude, if you say something to me, I'm gonna fucking respond. So you can kiss my ass otherwise, and you can say what you want about it. You can say I'm being sensitive. You gonna get this work. You can't just talk your way out of shit. There's a thing called accountability. And this is the huge problem from generation to generation. Accountability. If some of you motherfuckers can't take accountability for shit, not even for the shit you do yourselves. Like, first the shit you do yourselves. That's the first observer of the shit that you do is yourself. And most of you motherfuckers can't take accountability for it. It's a weak look. Just is. I'm sorry. Sorry, that's just what it is. You are the first observer of the shit that you do. So, if you go around telling people otherwise, then you're full of shit anyway. And a lot of us don't believe that we're full of shit. Shit. Nobody likes to believe they're full of shit, though. Let's just be honest with that. No one. Have you ever met a person and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm full of shit." I mean, unless they trolling or whatever. And that trolling thing, I'm real careful with the use of that word, because if you trolling is like you're telling people, excuse me, not to take you seriously on anything. And sometimes you want people to take you seriously. It's like the boy who cried wolf. And that story was very dark. Because imagine a little 8-year-old boy watching the wolf slaughter all of his sheep. It's a bloody fucking mess everywhere. Trolling. That's what trolling is. When someone really needs you, fuck you. Or when you really need someone, fuck you. Okay. Alright. And there he is. The roguish one.
Yes, sir. Long live the habitual line stepper.
Long live.
Long motherfucking live. What's up,
Yeah.
weekend word?
What's going on? Roguish son?
Shit, maintaining, bro. Maintaining. Here you put the fire, man. You got feet the fire in this one.
I guess that's subjective opinion. So when I hear that, it must be true. Um, so yeah, man. I mean, this whole generational rivalry, generational cursing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a stupid divide at the end of the day.
Is I don't so the thing is, what is the preparation that the future or later generations is wishing that the earlier ones did?
I mean, like I think I explained it from a kind of a first person type, like
Right.
um yeah, I just didn't really feel like we were fortified enough to where we could protect ourselves and our own interest. We were always pointed in other directions. We were given a basic layout of how life was supposed to be,
So we're
and
supposed to be, we're supposed to be in the AP classes to understand WS,
one
huh?
yeah, one size, we were given one size fits all.
Uh
We
huh.
were given that, and what you do when you do that, you find out that it won't work for like 75% of everybody.
Mm.
Seriously, it's like we weren't allowed to explore our actual talents.
Yeah.
Not to say we weren't allowed. It was kind of a forced thing. And then when you get to be our ages with our awareness, we realize this early on. So it's kind of like what the
Well,
fuck? What?
our parents fashioned us for the system. It fashioned our expressions for the system, but we thought the system was just arbitrary, the system type of thing instead of their system type of thing. And I think that's what's fucking a lot of people up because they don't want to acknowledge that this is a their system type of situation. And you know what I'm saying? A lot of people like selling themselves the dream. It's some cognitive dissonance. I was just talking over 1G's panel about it. It's a cognitive dissonance that black people go through that we don't like to acknowledge.
Yeah, because who wants to be on the shit end? like,
Mm.
like I
Work to
said,
do
no.
what's work to do.
Yeah. No one likes. Like I said, no one likes to tell you they're full of shit. That's a kind of like a mentality across the board. We go with the thing that makes us look the best, and even if things are bleak, if we're a turd, we we don't smell that bad. Stop focusing on the negative shit.
I mean, what
Dang.
the thing is though, like, all right, so we're not a monolith though. So
Definitely not that.
are we all kind of like eh, I don't know, to our own detriment, desiring a monolithic result or what I'm saying, solution or something?
Solution is whatever solution that a feasible solution I would say that we have is going to be very slow coming because
Yeah.
there's been such advances made against our interest that we wouldn't even know where to begin. And we
How many
think
people
it
you think can acknowledge that though?
not many. And that's where the problem lies. And if we don't wake the fuck up, it's going to be too fucking late. And I hate to put it that way. And I mean, like, for me to really accept that it's too late, which means I would give up this channel. Like seriously.
A word.
Like it would just be that bleak for me. It's just like
Mm.
if I were coming up here, I would just come up here just for money. At this point, it ain't. And if I was coming over here for money, I could people laugh at me. But you know, it's but like I would certainly most like to drop everything in my life to come pursue YouTube full time because I've given you glimpses of what I can do. But let's just be realistic, man. I
Right.
mean, it just is it seems like it's other people's time.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean the
yeah,
thing.
but that's not putting myself down. It's just that
Nah,
I
nah, nah. You're
no,
not. You're not defeatist. This is
no,
one
I'm
of
not.
the conversations that they used to have in the pro-black sector. You know what I'm saying? Are we thinking defeatist for thinking so? And it's like, nah. If you, this is where you start understanding the whole black pill shit. You notice how shit mosey into black pillism now. Like nobody has to even present it
I
because
need
you just
I need a thorough explanation of black pillism. It's like I
my
like I've
my
said
my
this in the
under,
past.
my
Okay,
understanding of it from what I've gained from BGS and listening to all the other folks from the black manosphere side of it, it's more along the line of taking an understanding of the ramification of the detrimental factors. So all factors involved are weighed, right? Now, what a lot of people tend to focus on primarily are the factors that could work towards resurrection or resolution. And it's like, all right, I look at the shit. That's why I say triage, right? It's like you're dealing with a harmed body, right? How much of it? Let's say that the detriment or the lack of cohesion with our community. Let's just say that that's gangrene, right? The community is the body, and the lack of cohesion is gangrene. Um, and cohesion would be circulation. How much gangrene has set in for you to want to preserve the body? Like how much gangrene can set into the regular human body before you say that, all right, this has to be cut off. It can't be worked with. You can't put no amount of chemicals there to induce life back into it or functionality back into it. You have to actually chop this off to preserve the remainder of the body. And yes, it's going to be at a deficit. Yes, it might be crippled for life or whatever, but at least it'll be alive. You feel me?
well, at this point, I think that it might be a couple toes, a couple fingers might be missing, maybe a kneecap. I mean, shit, man. I mean, shit. I mean, we fucked like a little bit. You know, we gotta admit that everything ain't all roses, but
Right.
I mean, for me, it's not like it's more than not being negative to me. You know, people will tell you all fucking day, don't be negative about
Yeah.
this, don't be negative about that. And it's like if you get sucked into enough of this black YouTube thing, you be like, God damn, like the fuck are you coming to me for? Like talking about don't be negative, like hold on them motherfuckers, God,
I mean, but this
like
is the thing. I think it's time to be negative or whatever the fuck. When remember the black manosphere wasn't as large as it is now, right? And when it got, and it was full of solution then. It was full of people working on crafting understandings of solution answers and shit. Well, all the new folks that came to this motherfucker, what they did was what I'm saying, pilgrims and Chinese folk do to Africa. They saw the richness of the nutrients there within the land, and they're like, all right, well, y'all ain't doing nothing with it that we can do with it, and so we go just gonna make some money off of it. It don't even really matter about the solution anymore. It's the fact that, well, the solution is a great talking point. It's a great speaking point to get more ears. And when you get more ears, you know what I'm saying? Shout out red pill, blue pill. They said that attention is currency. And so you get more currency, possibly more super chats, donations, or whatever the fuck. But the solution is never manifest.
let's be realistic. All that shit is nice. If I were getting dozens of super chats and cash apps and shit,
Yeah.
I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't. I mean, and I say that with the utmost truth. But but if the purpose is empty,
Right.
doesn't
Right.
matter who's watching. Doesn't
Right.
matter who's watching. I mean, the super chat. Let's take the super chat out of that because, like, let me tell you something. Making money is a plus, especially in
Yeah.
this day and age. Shit, and especially in these COVID times. I mean, shit, making money is awesome. That's awesome shit. But like, you kind of like gotta put yourself in a position to where I didn't come. I have to say I didn't come up here to be a millionaire. I
Right.
came up here because I wanted to get my message out. I wanted to get this message out. I felt like it was important that you receive a balanced perspective from a black man, and and it just so happens that you know maybe I differ a little bit from that. I kind of swing for the fences on a lot of shit.
Right.
It's like I'm on the fence. I'm off the fence. Like if I feel like it's wrong, I'm not gonna tell you it's right just to pacify you.
Right.
I'm not gonna
Right.
tell you that it's not your fault some kind of way if you got 5 kids by 5 different dudes. I'm not gonna tell you that's right. Sorry.
Right.
That's a very bad look.
What
And
what
if
that
you
what that gets into that gets into the fundamentals. That's the thing. The fundamentals are now an elective. It's a choice. It's not considered something that's just absolute anymore. Now motherfuckers is, talking on traditionalisms as if it's a choice instead of an essentiality.
yeah, I was made this point earlier, like from how everything like I guess the point I was making, like from my end, it looks like de-evolution.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
it does.
when I made the hair weave comment earlier, like I was saying that we all used to make fun of hair weave. Now, if you went off the path and got a hair weave, then it's likely male or female made fun of you. But now in 2021, you go off the rail a little bit. They talk about you, they troll you,
Mm.
and it could be because of something you say. Well, I prefer natural hair, and it's like that how things swapped.
I mean,
I consider that a de-evolution.
I mean, when you think about it, it was already a sprint away from embracing the naturality of shit. You feel me? So it really only makes sense that now that they're going to be defending, what I'm saying, or even like battling against it. Like that. This is something that I say all the time. It'd be different if people just disagreed with black men and our perspective of, saying what we think should be. Everyone gets their right to do so, to speak on our reality like that. So it's like, all right, well, we can speak on the reality as a whole as well. And it'd be different if people just disagreed with us, but they don't disagree with us. They attack us, a la Dave Chappelle. You know what I mean? You're attacked for your perspective and your input, basically, as opposed to just being just disagreed with. Yeah, I can take a disagreement, but if you're gonna attack me just for speaking on things, so whose definition of this reality are we supposed to be moving off of then? Whose is more valuable?
Whose perspective is more valuable?
Yeah.
The
Well,
one
and,
that
and why is it a context of whose perspective is more valuable with shit? It's like, all right, if everyone's perspective matters, and this is the time that we're moving into, so then when we have our perspective, first thing everybody thinks they're being attacked. And it's like, wait a minute, no, we're just presenting the factors in the fucking way that we do it. We're just good at this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
We know
like,
how to see, motherfucker. That's just all that is. But this is what we see, and they get issues with that.
yeah, yeah, they got issues with it. I mean, like,
What the
I
fuck you
say,
don't know how to look that well?
like, shit, like, you can't, like I said, can't wrap up stank.
Mm,
Just, stank,
mm,
just stank. Get rid of stank. Now, y'all don't want to get rid of stank. Y'all just want to pretend like it's not there.
right.
You
Now we
know, and
gotta
it's,
ask ourselves what is percentage of the motherfucker that's rocking with the funk then?
funk is different, from
Yeah,
stank.
yeah, funk different shit. My
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, man.
Free your
But
mind. Free your mind.
yeah,
Free your
man. But
mind for sure.
yeah, but it's just this entire thing. Like, okay, if you disagreed, if you disagreed, that's fine. You know, if my point of view gets a better result, then I win. If your point of
Right.
view gets a better result, then you win.
Right.
It's on the person to concede or not. Now, if you just blatantly wrong, I wouldn't not concede. I mean, shit, that doesn't make any sense. Oh man, I was like, well, goddamn, and that's what that's a lot of what happens. With us. We too proud to concede to a point because because this nigga older or this nigga younger. There's always gonna be a goalpost move. This is just one of the goalpost moves. It's always gonna be something else besides I'm wrong. Okay, you're right about this. Thanks for teaching. I
Exactly.
would say,
Exactly.
or walking the fuck away. You're right, though. I mean, I don't necessarily like that, but it seems like that has a more peaceful outcome than some of the other shit.
I mean,
Like how somebody be like, "You just right, dog. You right, dog," and then just walk off.
but
Like
wait a
like
minute. The style that people are engaging now is the framework of the Black manosphere. Think about it now. So they should owe an accountability just to the style alone. I mean, I look at this shit like, again, I told you, I look at this shit like martial arts, cuz this is like some Shaolin shit to me. Here, building with the brothers and being able to receive instruction, wisdom, game, experience, you know what I'm saying, testimony, truth, facts, information. I mean, it's a whole bunch that's here. Um, and if you hear people, okay, so now everybody's talking relationship, right? Everybody talk relationship, not for the sake of community, just for the sake of he say, she say, or whatever. But they're doing it in the style of the Black manosphere. So I
yeah,
think the
whether
Black
they like it or not, folks.
yeah, for
I'm
real.
for, I'm for real, man. It's like we have all these motherfuckers with all these panels and all these channels and all this stuff. If the Black Manosphere did not pioneer that style first, I mean, there were panels, but they weren't as rampant until like
Yeah, yeah,
I would say the top guys started to do those panels and get together and have those conversations.
yeah.
Um, Probably say I would like I see if I miss a name, people are gonna be like, But style panels like I would say BGS and
hmm
O'Shea with those Rumble style panels.
hmm
I would say that guy got him kicked off more than anyone.
Yeah,
And whether people want to admit that or not, even some of these fails around here do. You know, here's the thing about them. And that's why I'm not so much emphasizing on them. They emulate the cool shit that black men do.
right.
Yeah, and I mean like they add the sex appeal of a female to it. That's why
It's
a
good
lot of
marketing.
yeah, great marketing as a matter
Yeah,
of fact. That's why they are able to kind of captivate an audience enough to come back to them repeatedly. It just you have tapped into the weakness and a generational weakness, by the way, of the heterosexual black man. You always had these older types telling you that you have to somehow, some kind of way validate yourself through a female.
mm, yeah,
Yeah, you always had them saying that, that you weren't a man if you weren't able to take a woman under your wing and take care of her and, pay all the bills and let her have your check and, so she can pay everything and give you an allowance. Like, I
So,
actually know.
so, 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 so question with that. Question with that.
Yeah.
Um, for those of us who was privy to that perspective, but also the other perspective, like my uncles laced me the other direction, right? We ain't even get into that, but the thing is, eh, what generation what generation saw that that wasn't working first and foremost? Was it also fellas of that generation, or was it the generation after?
uh, I would say that Generation X was a big ass experiment.
Right.
Yeah, like some guys went that way, other guys said fuck that. And a lot of guys that said fuck that, I would say a lot of guys that did say fuck that became a lot more successful for themselves than the
Yeah.
guys that didn't. The guys that didn't, a lot of those guys ended in divorce, and a lot of these guys are here in these spaces looking for answers. I would say.
Mm.
so, so,
Ouch.
so,
This nigga cutting tonight, boy. I swear
yeah,
to God,
yeah, I'm just saying, man. I have to give it to you guys this way.
boy. Brutally honest.
Brutally honest. But Mr. Z is up here. What's going on, man? What do you think about the conversation you've heard so far?
What's going on? What's going on, Kev? What's going on, Rogish?
Good.
Man. But going on what Rogish was saying, and it kind of ducktails on something Rod says often. They didn't expect the landscape to change this fast. The intelligent designers did not expect for the landscape or for people to change this fast, particularly men, and that's what Raj usually speaks to. Um, and so yeah, going to what you were saying, like for the dudes, what Rogish was saying for the dudes that they were raised, you're supposed to hand your check over to the lady, and she give you your allowance out of your money. You know what I'm saying? And you're supposed to survive off of that for the next 2 weeks until you get paid again. Yeah, foolishness. But and that kind of goes to the happy wife, happy life stuff. It's a bunch of foolishness. But I missed a lot of the beginning, Kev. So like the title, what do you mean by generational curses?
Generational cursing.
Oh,
Uh,
cursing. I'm sorry, cursing.
Generational cursing basically
Mm-hmm.
was my perspective on the debacle of the generations between black men, and with a little
Mm-hmm.
black women in it. Generational curses, like when they speak of that, they can speak of
Literally.
the lack of a strong patriarchy within the family
Mm-hmm.
unit, therefore leading to the eventual destruction of the children. And because of the systemic disadvantages that were put in place for our previous, that they didn't have the kickstart that a lot of these rich motherfuckers
Yeah.
had, for their children, to be able to have a head start and have a some wealth waiting on them, as such. We dealt with all of that shit, yet it still like causes, with all of that in existence, uh,
The old
divide.
heads be talking crap still.
Yeah, yeah, the old head talk crap. The young people like fuck you. I made some money.
Hmm.
Gen Z. I don't know what pronoun I want to use, but
Millennials or Gen X?
I
I
said
mean, millennials or Gen Y? Gen Y.
millennials are Gen Y. That's why I
Yeah, yeah,
said.
yeah.
That's why I
Hmm.
said Gen Z.
Okay, yeah.
I made that mistake one time. I was like Gen Y,
Okay.
Gen Y. No, Gen Y are millennials. God damn it.
Yeah.
They don't speak with some sense, Kevin. You know.
But Kev, to go to what you're saying, okay, I think this is why, and I was saying this on Rod's show earlier, having the puzzle pieces, right, and be able to fit them together to the point where you could start seeing the picture. You're never actually going to have the full picture, but the more you grow and the more you acquire knowledge, the fuller that picture becomes until your death. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is oftentimes the old heads, who I will not mention, but that we're not talking about the BGSs or the Black Urus, right? Or the Erics, but a lot of the old heads, some older Xers and some boomers, they still think that we're in this era where you can lord over women, right? It's like the last 30 plus years, 35, 40 years did not happen in their mind. And
Right.
so when they prescribe answers and solutions, it's often like this, well, you just got to be a better man and you got to be stronger. And like I was saying earlier, Rogus, you got to have a
Alpha
stiff upper
your
lip
way
and
through it.
stoicism. Alpha your exactly. And
Mm.
then they completely disregard, and I like bringing up the numbers, right? Like half of American men make $38,000 a year or less. They can't lord over their women financially, right? Where your women submits because of the implied security of your
Right.
paycheck. We don't live in that world no more, right? We don't live in the world anymore where you could backhand a woman, right? That wasn't good when when it was happening. Now it like that's your ass if you come up if you reach on your arm across, right? Like
Mm.
we just don't live in the world where you could even imply or suggest any type of outside pressure. So like you either oftentimes either have to be like the most charismatic person in the world, or you have to find some slick ass way of like suggesting that she follow your direction. And a lot of old heads just don't
Yeah, you
think
gotta
this.
have some game, man.
Yeah.
Yo, question.
Hmm.
Let's say, all right, that method never left. Would that be considered sufficient for, you know what I'm saying, the go to, you know what I'm saying, in order to write shit? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I
Let's
mean,
because remember that's the only reason why I was like that back in the day, right? It's like, all right, I guess that was enough. A little bit of act right, smack right, whatever. Um, I wouldn't have been cool in that situation that if I got to smack a bitch for her to
me
act right,
neither.
nigga, what the fuck? Yeah, for
You,
why do you
but
want to
this
do
goes
that
to
much
that.
work, man? That's a lot of work.
Man,
But
I don't wanna come home every night to a fucking war. I
Hell
mean,
yeah.
fucking
I
no.
And you better believe that you're gonna die early death. That rat poison is real, y'all. That can mix with anything.
God damn it, woman, don't make me raise my hand to
Heart
you.
attack.
Like, no,
I'm coming, Elizabeth. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
I can't do it, man. No, I mean, we get that was bad shit. We
Hmm.
get. I do believe in defending myself. You better not put your fucking hands on me. But like, just as a way of trying to assert control, that shit's
Hmm.
crazy.
It is.
Thank you. That's nuts.
Yeah, that shit's
But
crazy, man.
going to what I was saying on top of that, the number I keep on bringing up, Rogish will attest to this, Kev. I think you might even heard me say this. The people that are getting married and staying married largely are the top I mean, excuse me, are the top 20%, 25% of Americans, right?
Right.
Because those men, for the most part, they still lord over their women, and it's not physical, right? It's financial. So this is the group of people. These are the group of men primarily that everybody's trying to get with. The top 20%. Whenever you whenever you hear the insanity coming from some of the divestors and swirlers comparing black men to white men, that's who they're really comparing black men to. And the reason why I brought that up is to say those are the people that I think a lot of old heads think that black men would be if we would just stop spending our money on Jordans. Right? And it's just and like it's just the dumbest thing in the world. And like I like to break this down, right? Me and Charles were saying this one day just to kind of put in context for people. Let's say you do got a nephew that got a serious Jordan problem. He got like 20 25 pairs of J's, right? $300 a pop, give or take. Let's say he got $7,000 worth of J's. That's 7 grand. If you think 7 grand is breaking the black community, you don't know money. If you think the one or two nephews you got who got a Jordan fetish, and let's say he got matching apparel, so let's say he got $15,000 worth of clothes in his room. You think that's what's break? I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not. I'm still not endorsing it. I'm just saying if you think that's what's breaking the black community, then you don't know money.
Can that be ascribed to a little bit of slavility, if you will? You know what I'm saying? Like some slave minded thinking.
Mm,
Because not really
yeah,
truly understanding values, even
yeah.
understand the community as a whole. Like I think that's one. It's a weak ass argument to try to put it on the youth. Like, oh, because y'all doing this youthful
Mm,
thing, that's why ain't nobody got nothing, which is bullshit.
yeah.
Um, that's it's like Kev said earlier. He said one of the worst things that the earlier generation didn't do was prepare for this motherfucker. Like
Ooh.
like think about it. When you really truly came to understand the capacity of WS, the history, and all that.
Hmm.
I mean, come on. We all ask ourselves the
I
question:
stand
why
in
didn't
awe.
nobody teach me this shit? Like, why? How could you not prepare me for this
I
and
don't
have me
think
believe in Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and all that
I
other
don't
shit?
I think they bought in too. To answer your question, Rogus, I think older Xers, boomers, and maybe some younger silent generation who might still be alive, they bought into it too. They when we walked out the 70s or walked out the 60s, excuse
Did
me,
they
into the
think that
mid
it
70s.
changed though? That's the thing. Look, you gotta
I
understand
mean,
something. My mama was bust, cuz she was of the
mm,
first batch of
yeah.
children bust. Why don't none of them ever tell us about that about those experiences?
y-
Like all
Cause
of them was
They were taught
favorable
not
or
to
something.
complain. They were
no,
taught that. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I will tell you one thing though. The
Mm,
brutality of that era was
yeah, that part.
absolutely
Mm-hmm.
terrifying,
Mm-hmm.
It
and
had to be for them to lie to themselves, you know what I'm
Uh-oh.
saying, to the point to where when they start having children, I'm not going to tell my child about none that I went through, none that we all went through, preparing them for the system and just send them to school. Yep, everything's right. Columbus and all the rest of this old bullshit.
Plymouth Rock and all.
You know what I mean? It's like, wait a minute, prepare us just a little bit. Cause how the fuck can these motherfuckers damn near be devils to y'all? And y'all ain't even gonna prepare us to say, well, you know what? Dealing with these particular people might be disagreeable.
Mm.
I ain't saying you gotta call them devils, but god damn, for the type of power and the type of tribal subjectivity that they are able to have within their government, legislation, and everything else, come on, at
I,
least
I'll
tell us.
I'll show I'll answer it real quick.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between Muhammad Ali? No, no, let me don't even do that. Is there a difference between Jim Brown and O.J. Simpson?
Of course.
That's it right there. They were sold that the new wave was Oprah and OJ.
Right.
That was the wave. The wave was we don't use it. What did Pharrell say? I'm a new black. We don't
Yeah.
use racism as an excuse.
Right.
That was the wave, right? And so when you get from the mid 70s on up, that's the wave where if it's not the most blatant in your face white man pointing at you
Don't
calling you
exist.
nigga racism,
Yeah.
then the one that you cannot deny for nothing, then it was a figment of your imagination or maybe you're too sensitive,
You know what?
right?
Dame Dash, he's some years back, he's spoke on certain things about marketing
Mhm.
of how what he say people can't afford the Rolex, but Rolex, you know, you got advertisements out there for people to create the desire into the person. But a lot of people don't understand. It's like after you see that Rolex advertisement in the magazine, every other 7 pages it might be like a Tag Heuer, somewhat,
Mm.
you know, a knockoff of that Rolex.
Mhm.
Tag Heuer, excuse me, grammar news. Tag Heuer. The fuck. You might see that in there a couple of times. But then your appetite grows for that through you desiring the Rolex first and foremost. Now you're not going to purchase that. You know what I'm saying? That's out of your league. But you can get the Folex and still
Yeah.
feel, you know what I'm saying, get that
haha.
vicarious atonement and shit, right? So when it comes to the WS, it's like Z say, yeah, you're going to definitely reject the, you know, frothing at the mouth, you know what I'm saying, nigger type of racist
Mhm.
or whatever, Confederate, whatever, all that shit, right? But that then that makes you not pay attention or be a little bit more accepting to those who might, you know what I'm saying, do the tongue in cheek shit or the passive aggressive, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying, micro racialism or whatever. And it's like,
The
well, it's not that
microaggressions.
bad. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Oh, it's not as bad as the frothing at the mouth. And I know I don't like that motherfucker, but it's like, nah, there's a whole lot more of the micro aggression racialist than it is
Mm,
frothing at
yep.
the mouth motherfuckers. They
Yeah.
got more power, more social influence, but they, they don't make you feel bad.
Well, they socialize you to accept that, right? Because the thing about the softer or the velvet glove racism is, yeah, it is. I'm
Well put.
telling you,
Well put.
the velvet glove racism is it makes you question whether it's you. Maybe you were being too sensitive.
Ooh, wait,
Maybe
wait, wait,
maybe he
wait.
didn't
Let's
mean it.
not
Go
move
go
from that
ahead.
point. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all say that again? See?
The velvet glove racism, white supremacy, the WS, like you say. The velvet glove WS makes you question whether it's a figment of your imagination,
Uh,
right? And to the point, now watch me tie this to what's going on with this whole swirler divester thing and with the generational curses.
yeah.
to the point where now we have people rejecting that it exists because they're at war with their own people.
Mm,
And so they're saying, yeah, well, if it exists, then you should have solved it a long time ago. I don't believe you. And as a matter of fact, I want to go over there anyway,
mm,
right? I want to go live in their paradise anyway. So we've gotten to the place now where not only are you being encouraged to question whether this thing exists, the opposite sex is telling you that you're weak if it does exist, and that if it does exist, you should have vanquished it a very long time ago, and they're leaving because you didn't vanquish it. That's if it exists in the first place.
That's a that's at the end of the day, that's a bullshit excuse because you can't run
Hmm.
from your goddamn skin. And let me answer this question. Not bullshit that you said it, Mr. Z. I'm
No, no, I
saying
know,
it's
I
a,
understand.
yeah, yeah. But let me answer this question. Stedman couldn't do better than Harpo. Uh,
Uh-oh.
Come on, Lashan. Let's think about this for a second. Look, if you're maybe one of these guys that are a principled individual, maybe you're somewhat talking about her looks, which at times many black men would have bypassed anyway, and
Mhm.
for all times, a lot of black men wouldn't have gave a fuck anyway because Oprah is like the cash cow. So
Mm.
to say that Stedman could do better if you have that opinion, um, it's a long shot at this point. I mean, well, in 2021 with Oprah, after all the crazy shit that, I mean, we speculated for years through her rhetoric, but then like the whole Michael Jackson thing, and then just constantly
Mhm.
going after black men. Then yeah,
The Gail and Kobe thing.
yeah, to get yeah that thing. Like then maybe you can do that rationale. But before all of
Hmm.
that, I mean, all people would have looked at was her money.
Yeah.
Like the fact that she's one of the wealthiest people on the well, I wouldn't even say wealthiest people on the planet. She's one of the wealthiest people in the United States.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, if you really look at like we looked at billionaires a while ago, and she was on the list, but everybody above them was just like, God damn, it was like one of them was like all of the black ones put together.
Yeah.
You know,
what black
Well,
billionaire
Jeff
actually
Bezos.
resonated such though, besides Mr. Smith?
Yeah, Robert Smith. But Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk by themselves, either one, they're worth more than all of the black billionaires on the planet.
Right.
Not just America, all of us. So those of us in because there's only two places: it's America and the continent of Africa to have black billionaires. There's no black billionaires coming out of, at least that we know of, legally. There's
Right.
none coming out of South America. There's none coming out of the Caribbean. There's none coming out of Britain. There's none coming out of Canada. There's so it's literally the whole entire continent of Africa, 54 countries, and America, right?
Mm.
Who have the black billionaires, and Jeff Bezos by himself is wealthier than all of them combined, and Elon Musk by himself is worth more than all of them combined. So
I mean, but the
that
thing
gives
is, once you're a billionaire, though,
you.
you have the funds to
Hmm.
shift others' economies.
Yep.
Now I think personally I think you get into some gangster shit, you know what I'm saying, when you start doing that. But the thing is, that's the game. I think this is what people have
speaking
been
of game,
blind.
speaking of game,
Yeah.
like once you become a billionaire, you get bored, and you then nothing, everything means nothing to you anymore. So you're trying to send people into space and shit and grow
Shout out
fruits and
One Punch
veggies.
Man.
Yeah, trying to fruits and veggies in space. So I mean, once you start to do that, you become a crazy old man and you come up with something called Squid Game.
And definitely
You
living in
Billionaire,
real life.
billionaires probably are some scary ass motherfuckers. Like seriously, the snap of your finger could change anyone's life. There's always somebody willing to do someone dirty for the right amount.
Right.
and
And
that
there's go ahead.
go ahead, Kevin. No, go ahead, Kevin. Go ahead, Len.
I mean, like even like they do them dirty for the right amount, they can make them disappear. They can buy off the law. They can buy off the judges.
Mhm.
They can buy off the lawyers. They can do anything they want. That's scary as fuck. Like,
Now,
see,
Nah. That's not scary. That's Shit, that's the veil being lifted. That's
Damn
Oz.
it, Rogish, I was damn it. That's where I was going. Hey, this is what I was gonna say to that. And this is going to where Rogish is going. What's frightening isn't necessarily the billionaires, it's all the people around you that want to be like them without taking
Mhm.
into account what those people really are and what they had to do to be in that position.
Exposed or not. Yep. Yep.
Think
People like sign me up. Like like
Mhm.
Patrice
And
O'Neal
that's
said,
frightening.
they want to ride that ride one more time, no matter what. And to me, this is how I judge the world, cuz I judge the world based off of the United States.
Mm,
Who wasn't here before when I was a child, and who came here later,
mhm,
and did they adhere to the status quo? And the status
mm,
quo was always on some okay, anti-communal black enrichment. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it was and however it expressed itself, it was on some anti-coagulated black family shit. So
mhm.
anything that attests itself to those factors, I just lump them in with that. And anyone who aligns themselves with that status quo, I lump them in with that. It is what the fuck it is. The whole of the world done came to this bitch. And these people arrive here with all their different religions, spiritual perspectives, or whatever. But when
Mhm.
they get here, these
They
motherfuckers fall
bow.
for it. They bow like a motherfucker, nigga. Whatever their God is, it ain't beating out white Jesus. All right. What?
Rogish, what did I tell? What did I say? What did I say on Rod's channel today? I don't give a fuck who's winning. Who is winning? And
Mhm.
that's the mentality of a lot of people. Nobody want to say it. I don't even know if everybody owns it
Yeah.
into themselves, whether they really own that that's how they're moving, right? And it's about
Mhm.
I don't care when you live in an amoral society. This is why I keep on using that word over and over again. When you live in an amoral society, people don't care about right and wrong. First of all, right and wrong is subjective in their minds. Secondly,
Mhm.
nobody cares. We're all like, who's winning? That's the direction I'm going in,
Yeah. Yep.
right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
so that when people come to America, they might have whatever worldview they have. By the time they kids come of age, definitely by the time they grandkids and great grandkids come of age,
Yep.
what you will see is that they just follow the stream. And if
Mhm.
the stream is anti-blackness, that's what they on. If the stream is hyper capitalist shit, that's what they on. If the stream is don't care about your neighbor, hyper individuality, that's what they're on. And so
Right.
that's what a lot of people slowly, because that first generation still got the culture. The second one might still have the culture a little bit. The third one got it a little less.
Mhm.
By the time you get to, and sometimes it's not even that fast. Your kids are already gone, but
Washed.
it's done because you think about what America is the biggest advertising hub on the planet. All
Right.
it does is sell dreams.
Mhm.
All
Yep.
it does. So you're selling a lifestyle. And what's
Bright
worse is
light.
that you see exactly. And you selling that you're selling that to white people. But you're imagine what that is for non-black people.
Mm.
Non-black people watching and this is where we get into the conversation about how certain groups compare black men to these non-black men, right?
Right.
They sold these women of color on a lifestyle. And then those women of color, as they be when they went from girls to women, they now look at their men like, I need you to give me that, right? And so when all these women are saying, I need you to give me that, or you're not a man, you
Mm.
get what we see now. And what ends up tying this to the subject matter, what ends up happening to a lot of the elders is that they're so stuck in the 1970s, maybe the early 80s. They really have no idea how much media affects things now, how much social media affects things
Right.
now, how much the environment has changed. I don't know if they're talking to their grandkids. I don't know if they're not on the internet for the most part, so they really have no idea how much things have changed. But yet they think they know enough to still try to give you advice, and
Right.
some advice is still warranted. It's still up to par. It's still relevant. But a lot of that advice, it just won't work now. Period. And
Well,
that's
it
when we get
won't. It
into the
won't. It
back and
won't
forth.
work. It won't work as a whole. it'll
Yeah,
still work for them, and that's what
yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah,
presenting.
yeah, yeah.
The majority of their perspective is anecdotal now. We think,
Mhm.
they think it's their maybe spin wisdom. Yeah, you just got some anecdotes there. But if you're not taking into consideration the changes and the influences within the reality itself and the reality unto those who are participating within it, is, what I'm saying, they pretty much bought the dream when they thought they accessed it and
Mm.
solidified it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a permanent fucking loop. It ain't even nothing that progresses. They just they just try to, what I'm saying, stay locked in that comfortable loop.
Ignorance is bliss.
Bliss than a motherfucker.
Hey,
Man.
you know what I think of when I think of this? It's the your parents telling you, well, I had you when I was this old, and I already bought a house, and by the time I
Hmm.
was 25, and I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, who's doing that now without inheritance? Who's getting a house at 24 years old without inheritance now?
Mm.
Unless you eating Roman noodles right after college and you literally save every penny for the down payment. So by the
Mm.
time you 25, 26, you already got the down payment for a house. But I don't know anybody getting no house before 30.
I mean, shit, they got to pay their loan back too.
You see what? And so that and I use that often as an example to old heads about how much the world has changed. We
Right.
don't live in the world anymore where you could do a summer job and have at least half of your tuition for college. We
Mm.
don't live in that world anymore. These kids are
Yeah,
go ahead.
I want to save for that convertible. So
Right.
I worked all summer. Hey,
Mhm. Mm. It's insanity. It's complete insanity. Hey, y'all don't realize the world changed when your 32-year-old daughter is still living with you?
uh,
You see what
uh.
I'm saying? When your 35-year-old son still ain't married, me, right? You you know what I'm saying? Like you don't realize that? Like the world has changed, and it's can you blame boomers for maybe reacting or responding incorrectly? Yeah, you could do that all day. You could blame millennials for that all day. But what are they reacting to? Of a quick changing environment.
Well, the thing is, is shaking their comfort. This is one
Hmm.
thing that I've noticed with boomers. They're the generation. Jeff Brown
Hmm.
said this. He said, "We can't weigh too hard on them because they are the generation whose parents were actually living through Jim Crow, and all that
Hmm.
what they were inundated with was that to be like these people is being an American, making it in America."
Yep.
So when they got to their children, this is why all the what was the considered the tools of that time. This is why they pushed integration so hard, and this is why they pushed
Hmm.
education so hard. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't pushing education for the sake of I want to see my child being a more robust character of a person. No, it was just okay. Now make yourself hireable for these pilgrims.
Yep.
Make yourself accessible for the system. And I think that was the earlier programming that the boomer generation got. And that's why they really seem locked on. Like my mom still say to this day, you gotta work for what you want. You gotta work,
Right.
and then we'll buy a fucking
you can
beamer.
work your goddamn fingers off. When you lack any efficiency at the end of all of that, they will
Yeah.
discard you.
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
should be telling your kids to, get some skills. Like,
Mm.
get to the money, not get to the super debt education that it takes to go with your plan.
What they need to tell them is get to your legacy through your skill and talent.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what they should tell them. And, you know what I'm saying? And you get the understanding that okay, well, look at skill. Skill is something that has to be developed. Look at talent. Talent is something that has to be observed, acknowledged. Either way it go, you're going to take a look at yourself. You're going to assess yourself. You know what I'm saying? Weakness, flaws, strengths, all that shit, and you still are able to navigate that within the system. You ain't got to say, "Oh, the system's evil" and all this shit. It's like, nah. just prepare a motherfucker for being able to navigate this motherfucker seamlessly,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you go through it unseamlessly. You know what I'm saying? But it's like they don't do that. It's, my homeboy Thorough say it all the time. He said black people are like squid generations with every, or octopi, with every
Mm-hmm.
new generation. There is nothing that is passed down in the species. They have to relearn it every single new generation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you don't get to have a legacy then.
Nope.
You have a last name, but and even that last name was forced on you, right? So you never get to have a legacy. And what's worse than that? Like robbing a people of the ability to have a legacy. But because misery loves company. What's beautiful now is that it's happening to the lower middle class of them now too. It been
Mhm.
happening to the poor of them. Now it's happening to the lower middle class of them now too. So maybe they'll while they're trying to save themselves, we could save ourselves, and maybe we could have them not be paying attention to us to sabotage us every 5 seconds while they're trying to save themselves. But the likeliness of that.
when,
I
when you
I
when you talk about legacy, it makes
mhm.
me think of the Klingon perspective of
Mm,
honor. I don't know if any of y'all are Trekkies, understand Star Trek, something like that, but
not enough. No, yeah, I'm not. I don't know enough.
it's real deep. It's as deep as Star Wars is in some regards. But
Hmm.
with the Klingons, they were really big on honor, right?
Hmm.
They were huge on honor, and the sons would take on either the honor or the dishonor of the father, right? So they
Mm,
were always prepping the uh, later generations to bestow the honor of the earlier generations. It was a constant thing. And so when you think of with legacy, is you got to ask yourself, what is the value of the honor or whatever it is that's supposed to be left unto, what I'm saying, these later generations. I think personally, I think once one sets their sights upon the American dream, nobody else and nothing else matters.
hmm. Yeah. And so going to that, and I ducktails to what you just said a few minutes ago,
Yeah.
which is, what does it mean to be American? If
Yeah.
what it means to be American is to be a WS, which is, by the way, yes, then if that's what everybody's trying to climb up the ladder to, then what do you get to eventually? But a bunch of people, whether they're white or not,
Yeah.
moving, thinking, acting like white people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it transcends just being a color thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mentality, and Paul Mooney said this already, right? And you have old civil rights leaders and authors who've been saying this since Reconstruction. It transcends just color at a certain point, and it goes to your worldview, to your mentality,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
we see that amongst people of color across the board, which is this: whether I'm low or high, whether I have money or not, whether I'm educated or not, these are my set values. But who gave you that value set?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you get that value set from? If and I use this as an example all the
That's
time.
blasphemy. That's blasphemy to even shoot that inquiry.
Exactly. I mean, like, you look at the values. Think about this. I use this all the time. Asian men make more per capita than any other group of people in America, but yet Asian women marry out more than any other group of women in America.
Right.
Because as much as black women like to say that it's about the money and protection and provision, look at the groups of people that supposedly above you financially, right?
Mm,
They're not marrying their men, even though their men make more than white men. Why? Because
mm.
it's about the skin color. See, there's no
It's
amount of
tribal.
money a man of color can make to
Yeah.
make up for that white skin in a white racist society.
Yeah. It's tribal. This is why I always say the phrase,
Hmm.
it is tribal. We can
Yeah,
think citizen, you can think government, whatever. Well, just think about being a citizen in another person's tribe.
yeah,
The
yeah,
government is just the body of representatives that's supposed to represent the population of the nation as a whole. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But think about what the link is between the government and its people in the past. That was
Mhm.
a tribal link.
Yeah.
And the whole aspect of whiteness is tribal. We think
Yeah.
we like to trick ourselves into thinking that it's just a racial, saying, classification like everybody else. Oh, white, black, Mexican, Asian, whatever. Nah. White to white folks does not mean what black people think white means to white
Mm,
folks. This is
yeah.
why I say it's a cultish type of thing. This is why they operate, what I'm saying, the government, laws, everything as they do. It's flexible to them because it's tribal. Look
Mm-hmm.
at the Kyle Rittenhouse shit.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's nobody. He's nobody. He's done nothing in this society where they should hold him to certain level to where he, what I'm saying,
Might get
not
off.
privy. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like no, he's just a regular citizen, right? If that's the case, and we're all just regular citizens, then there shouldn't be no special whatever. Oh, he's just an American. No, he's a pilgrim.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody say it with me, kids. Pilgrims, okay?
Pilgrim. Mm-hmm.
When they became Americans, dude, they did that shit through conquering, through war.
Yeah.
Everybody else became a fucking American based off of how they said you was a fucking American. It
You
is
know,
not the same.
I think one of the major issues, and I think men are better at understanding this than women, from what I've seen in my little 35 years, it's a lack of understanding of two very important concepts:
Yeah.
zero-sum game and pyramid scheme. And you speak to, and I've spoken to master's degree having black women who speak as if the world really is the abundance mindset. And I think it's okay to a certain extent to have that mentality because it helps you wake up in the morning and go out and try to achieve your dreams. But there is a line that when you cross it, you get into delusional territory. And what ends up happening is you fundamentally don't understand. You know what? Let me give you a better example. We were on your show one time, Rogish, and Toya said something. I think, yeah, yeah. And she was saying like she spoke to her mom. I don't know. Her mom said something, and she was like, "Have you ever thought that the reason why the men are in the jobs is because we're in the jobs, right?"
Uh,
And like because it's a zero-sum game. How are you going to have so many men in a position if you got so many women in position? If there's 100 slots and and you got 80 women, where the hell are the other 80 men supposed to come from? It's only space for 20 men.
right,
You see what I'm saying?
right.
But what often happens and where black people I think struggle sometimes, especially black women, is the idea of like, no, this is what it is. You live on a finite planet with finite resources, right? And we haven't mastered alchemy yet. So,
Mm.
you know, I mean, there to a certain extent, I mean, you could argue like a computer is just and it is a technological marvel of alchemy, right? You took raw materials and now you have this thing that you could communicate with someone halfway around the world with and you
Right.
could do work on and blah blah blah. So to a certain extent we are practicing alchemy every day as human beings. But the type of alchemy we talking where you produce more fresh water out of nowhere or or maybe not out of nowhere but from another material or you
Right.
produce gold from just random you could press coal into gold, right? That we're not there yet, and I think a lot of people struggle with the understanding that you're not in that place. So I think for um Xers, millennials, Gen Z, and maybe Generation Alpha, this transition period between what was and what is, we're in this just weird place because there's no more rules. I think that's what trying to get at. There are
Mm.
no more rules, and I think when elders, tying this back to the subject matter, when elders, older black men in particular, speak to us often, they have no idea how much the rules that they abide by or they knew or they believe in have been
Mhm.
shredded over the past 40 plus 50 years. And especially if they're not talking to young people, if they're not talking to people, let's say 40 and younger, 45 and younger, they really have no idea how many things they believe in or that used to be are just not anymore. I'll pause right there.
But if they're able to hold on to their pocket of the American dream, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Obviously, people are able to hold on to their own personal pocket of the American dream to the point to where
Yeah.
another person's, you know what I'm saying, reality really doesn't affect yours. As long as, you know what I'm saying, the society and system is permitting it. But once it bucks it a little bit, then, you know, they're able to get, you know, somewhat, you know, of a larger understanding of the picture and seeing where, okay, well, these are how things are not alike. And I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe, you know, most people just they want the American dream, right? Most people want that.
Mm.
So what's considered that? You know what I'm saying? House, 2-car garage, white picket fence, cat,
Mm-hmm.
dog, all that shit, right? Husband,
Yeah.
wife, nuclear family,
Two
all that,
point
right?
two point three kids.
Yeah, you know what I mean? All right,
Yeah.
cool. That's
Hmm.
I can dig it. I can dig it. But the thing is, once the society makes the shift to where it's a laboring process to even maintain it, to even develop that, let alone maintain it, you have to take that into adequate consideration, or else
Hmm.
you're just operating with an illusion. Even if you did achieve the American dream, it's still an illusion if if you're not able to make the changes where the changes need to be. You know what I'm saying? Some adjustments
Yep.
as it continues to move forward. People get locked into it, and I wonder what age people get locked into desiring the
Shit.
dream
You
as they do.
ro- um you said you and Toya be checking out my channel. The
Yeah,
video I put out with when they were speaking about Disney and like
right. Oh,
just so that means you're getting the kids young. It's not a they're essentially locked in from the second you put a television in front of them or a cell phone in front of them.
facts.
It's I think it just becomes more and more solidified as we get older. But the second they get hit with any type of media, and that's why I stressed earlier that these kids, these girls in particular, they they lost before they even won, before there
Mm,
was even a chance of them winning. You're hitting kids with millions, if not billions, of dollars of propaganda at 5 years old, at
mm.
10 years old, at 15 years old. So now when we meeting them and dating them at 25 and 30 and 35, the reason why they sound insane is because they've been getting hit with this lifestyle brand propaganda for 20, 30, 40 years of their life.
It makes sense. It makes sense because I ain't gonna lie,
Mhm,
cuz you see my cousin playing with her Barbie, and
mhm.
I just thought, oh, all right, you know, they make a lot of shit for Barbie. Nigga, G.I. Joe ain't got half this shit.
You see what I'm saying?
Transformers ain't got half this shit.
Now fast forward 20 years later and go into your girl cousin closet.
Yeah, but you still see the desire for them to have the dream house, the dream
Exactly.
car, the dream, and that's what they call it though. That if you think
Mhm.
about it, that's some
They
slick
literally
ass
say
shit.
dream car and dream
The
house and
dream
yeah,
car, dream house,
yeah,
dream
yeah.
job, dream wardrobe. It's like, all right, well, nigga,
Dream, dream, dream.
you know what I mean?
Mhm. Like the song for real. And
Dream away.
what makes all of that even even more pernicious, just adding on to the insidiousness, is when they were marketing and showing all of this stuff, they were marketing it like it was middle class, not
Mm,
upper middle class, not rich, not wealthy. They were marketing it like it was middle class.
yeah.
Meanwhile, you're if you're lucky, $40,000 a year dad and $35,000 a year mom, if you're lucky, their their kids are being sold on a lifestyle that people that are making, let's say, 100 a year are the ones that's living, right?
Mm,
So now their daughter is like, well, I need this lifestyle. Well, who can afford you that lifestyle? The top 10% of niggas.
right.
How's this supposed to work in the long run? That's what it always boils down to me is the math. The math, shout out to Toya, the math ain't mathing.
Math ain't math.
The shit just don't make no sense, bro.
Facts.
We should just told that. Hey, I heard that shit before Toya said it, but ever since she started saying it, I just stole. Tell her I just stole that shit from her. I just took it.
Yeah, yeah. She make it kind of pointed.
All right, because but it's a perfect quote to illustrate and emphasize the delusion and the insanity. because the statement within itself is comical, and it emphasizes how comical the person that's speaking to you is when you use that comment.
Hmm.
That's why I like it so much. Right? The math ain't math, and that shit don't make no sense. Exactly. You don't make no sense. You know?
The
So
fact, the fact,
that's
the
just the
fact that
time we
most of
live
the
in.
stuff doesn't hold up to scrutiny, to just
Hmm.
objective scrutiny, and we get right back into the whole generational cursing thing. Um, Objectional scrutiny. That's nothing wrong with that. That's nothing wrong with that. Um, but that's one thing that's been eroded. It seemed like that's been social. People have been social conditioned out of being able to receive that properly.
Mhm. And you know what makes it crazy too, Rogish? And I see Kareen in the comments. You could ask Kareen, what ends up happening is this slowly creeps into places outside of the US. It slowly, drip by
Mm-hmm.
drip, because
Mm-hmm.
it's leaking into Haiti. And you could ask
Mm-hmm.
Kareen, I bet you it's slowly leaking into Jamaica, right? I wish Jay Bones was in the comments so he could tell you it's slowly leaking into West Africa. Because
Yeah.
guess what? Those of us that are not so knowledgeable, we flying back and forth to the Caribbean, flying back and forth to the continent, and we
It's
bringing all
changing.
this toxic ass shit exactly
Yep.
with us. I
Yep.
remember one of my boys, his actual name is the same as mine, and white dude from Romania. He was saying, "Yo, every time I go back home, because he used to go back home like once every 2 years. He was born here, but they still refer to it as home. And he's
Right.
like, every time I go, the people sound crazier. And he's like, because when I'm going, people around my age group are going back to go see family and stuff like that too. And he's like, I used to think I wanted to marry a Romanian chick straight from Romania. I don't even know if it's even worth it anymore because he was trying to find a way around Americanization, but he's
Uh-huh.
like, ain't no
Uh-huh.
what I don't even know if that's possible. And and Rogish, we're talking about like over a decade ago now. This
Yeah.
conversation me and him had.
Oh, it's even worse now, dog. Look,
Yeah.
when I was in the military going around a couple of
Hmm.
places, dude, you would go to some, and it's easy to tell the foundational culture there. And so it's easy to tell what other cultures might be impressing upon it. And the only culture that I saw impression upon everyone in the world, wherever their original culture was American culture.
Yep.
And it wasn't just Americans that was there. Nigga, you meet people from South America, from Europe, from wherever, all in this foreign land. But shit, you would think it'd be more Americans there more than anyone, because that's the culture that be taking over. I be trying to tell people, look, eh, okay, so the Moors will say United States is a corporation, right? So I'm like, all right, I believe the United States is a corporation, but the product that it pushes is Americanism.
Hey,
Americanism.
Rogish, quick question to be funny.
Yeah.
What does global keeping up with the Joneses look like?
Facts,
Oh my
dog.
God. Global keeping up with the Joneses. You in a shanty in Brazil watching American television trying to keep
Uh,
up with the Joneses. Get out of here, bro.
oh
In a
man.
favela, you living in the favela in Brazil, you living in a shack in Haiti and Jamaica, you living in
Mm,
a tent in Africa, and you got a television and cell phone. And whether you realize it or not, and this is the important part, if you ask most of these people, they will tell you that they don't see Americans like that. They're not trying to keep up with the
mhm,
Joneses. You have to slowly walk them through, like, okay, when your cousin came to visit, you saw all those stuff that you saw on him or her that you
mhm,
liked. They
mhm.
saw that on white people in America and they liked it. Like you have to walk them through how, yeah, they are trying to keep up with the Joneses. They're just more further removed than we are. We're right up under it, right? We're
Yeah.
like right there. We're front row seat to the bullshit. They're like maybe 3, 4 rows back, depending on their standard of living in Haiti or Jamaica or Nigeria or wherever.
You
And then
know
if
how
you like,
scary that is? The
yeah,
fact that we here right up on it, and we have
yeah,
fights and unnecessary arguments with motherfuckers that it's even here
mhm,
and over, so it's like, if people, again, the whole Harriet Tubman thing, I say hundreds, I could have saved thousands if they only knew that they were slaves. Back in the days of Harriet Tubman, how the fuck did anybody not know they was a slave, right? So imagine imagine the conditions being, I guess, favorable or whatever outside of the United States. Imagine, what they're going through, where all they're only privy to it through uh a media conditioning, if you will. They don't even have the examples around them. So you can't
Damn.
even tell them it's fake or that this is the cause. Like,
Let me add some gas to that fire.
yeah.
On top of that, now social media got it even worse because now they're following their favorite content creator
Oh
who all they
God.
do is push a lifestyle. At least the TV could turn off, right? At least the your favorite celebrity is not putting out a show every 5 seconds. Your favorite content creator though on Instagram, oh yeah, they posted them red bottom shoes, they posted that bins, they
Yeah.
posted they
Yep.
posting that shit all day, every day. So
Yep.
all day, every day, you get hit with products and lifestyle and products and lifestyle, and this is what you need to live, and this is how you need to be.
Yeah.
So when we run into her, you know, at let's say 32 years old, she's had. Well, let me use a young Xer. So let's say 28. Social media been popping for the past let's say YouTube and all that other shit. All that really started getting online back in like
Oh
oh
six.
six,
Oh 0607.
yeah, oh 06, oh 07. So you have a person who's 28, 29 years old, who for almost half their life been hit with social media. And in the
Yeah.
beginning half of their life, they were just hit with the normal media, which is already toxic as it is. And you try to make a wife out of this person. And for the ladies, I'll throw
Uh,
y'all a bone. You try to make a husband out of this dude. You see what
okay,
I'm
okay,
saying?
okay. So now we get into the values. So once the values are shifted at such a nuanceical subliminal point, that's isn't that it? Isn't that done? Because it's like when JoJo come on the panels, and you know what I'm saying, he's speaking for, you know what I'm saying, the young cats. He's like, look, we don't y'all having these talks and everything, but we ain't even finna deal with even having the talks. We've already made our decisions. Like that's the generation that they're dealing with, right? It's like our generation is still open to dialogue, you know what I'm saying, for the back and forth or whatever.
Yep.
But the future generations they're locked in.
They
They're like,
said we
nah.
won't negotiate with terrorists.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's like, what are we looking to preserve then? Because
I,
if the future generations are already locked in, how they're locked in to the point where this is their value system, are we looking to just preserve some novelty aspect of?
I think that's true and not true at the same time.
Uh,
When JoJo speaks and when Pookie Truth speaks, I get it. I think a lot of that a lot of that is, what's the word I'm looking for? It's holding on to your own agency a little too much, right? Because
mhm.
you don't want to admit that the environment done changed so much. It's not your discipline, it's the women. A lot of y'all ain't having sex. A lot of y'all ain't are not in intimate relationships. A lot of y'all are in the friend zone or whatever situation because the women ain't are the ones that's, if I can't have this, I don't want nothing. Or I'm okay with being um chick number four to this dude that I like instead of being the main and only chick to this other guy that I'm like kind of iffy on. I don't find him that attractive. He's not
Mhm.
that charismatic. So I hear with a lot of, and obviously JoJo's in a relationship, so it doesn't apply necessarily to him.
Right.
But Generation Z and young millennials, they're not like, I use the sex as an example, but it's really not about like the physical act. It's about the intimacy and the connecting with the opposite sex. They're not doing that because the opposite sex, the women, are throwing a damn tantrum because they can't have the type of men they want, the type of way they want. And so a lot of men are
Mm.
acting like it's discipline. How much of this is really I'm not gonna say none of it is, but how much of this is discipline and how much of this is that the women just ain't, they're just like, screw it. If I can't have this the way I want it, how I want it, when I want it, then there is no relationship. And I'm perfectly okay with that. But they're gonna have to deal with the consequences as they get older,
Right.
you know? So I hear that. I hear the that we're not negotiating with terrorists. I get it. And I once again I think that that does apply for some, but for many Gen Z, younger millennials, even the black ones, I would say the women are having sex with a smaller and smaller pool of men, and the women are the ones that really are practicing discipline, but it's not the way we think of discipline where like I have this agenda, this is the thing that I'm working towards.
Right.
It's a temper tantrum type of discipline. It's the it's the it's the God, this you ain't doing what I want you to do, and I'm not getting what I want from the universe. So I'm not closing my legs because I value my temple. I'm closing my legs because I'm throwing a temper tantrum at the universe for not giving me the type of man I want, how I want it, when I want it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
It's not based off of intrinsic principle. It's really a fuck you.
Yeah, to the universe, to God
Yeah.
and to men. Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of boys and young men are they're saying they're saying that they're like that also, and I question that discipline. I'm not saying no young man is that disciplined, but I
Mm,
question how much of it is like, yeah, you
not in
really,
this day and age. Too much free
yeah,
flowing pussy. Way
yeah.
too much. Um, what do you think is the preparation that JoJo's generation wanted the one before him to make?
Ooh, to prepare them?
Yeah,
Whew, that's a good question. Ooh, what could we what could we have said
'cause I
that,
think that'll be my generation. I'm 42, so that's X.
yeah. But you're a super young Xer though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a super young Xer. But damn, they're a millennial. But
Shit, my favorite music is P-Funk, cuz. So
okay.
you call millennial you want to.
But okay, that's a good question. What would they appreciate?
Yeah.
What advice? It's not all that glitters isn't gold. Um, you have to be selfless and selfish at the same time.
Mm,
Like Rod said, you have to be a ruthless nice guy.
yeah.
Um, not all women are bad and mean, but many of them are. You can understand why it's trauma, it's anger, it's rage, because just like the world lied to you, it lied to them. And
Mhm.
for you, if you want to put your hand in that oven and be with one of them that's like that, understand you might burn your hand. There's a lot of things that we could tell, because I don't want them to be rageful at women for no. I don't want to create the male counterpart to that swirling, divesting shit.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't want them to be mad at all women, especially black women, just because they're women. But I do want them to understand that these women were propagandized since they were young. So were you. But the world woke you up every single day
Mhm.
by how people would speak to you, how people treated you, the fact that you're a black man. The world makes sure you don't buy into whatever was on television, whatever you see on your cell phone.
Mhm.
Where women, on the other hand, because of just the overall environment, and because we still have, and I don't know why women keep on acting like we don't, we still have a certain level of chivalry, we still have a certain decorum when it comes to how we speak about women and speak to women for the most part, right?
Yep.
And
Facts.
because of that, we we just they're allowed to go on with the delusion until the wall, whenever the wall is for them, and some of them never hit the wall, quite frankly. You, on the other hand, as a man, you don't get that grace.
You don't get a lot of grace as a man.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
mean, but that's just facts right there, and that's something that we had to learn to deal with, and that's one of those things that we wish we were better prepared for. But here's the thing, and this goes with each one of you guys out there and people watching. Once you like fuck a generation, once you cross a certain age, you are responsible for you.
Hmm.
Period. It's,
Yeah.
it's like, especially if you can identify problems like we can sometimes. But anyway, listen up, guys. Got to get up a little early tomorrow. I know I always make this excuse. You know, and shoot, one of these days I'm gonna do a marathon style, but I gotta have the right topic for that.
Oh man, you gonna pull a BGS?
11 hours.
Oh boy,
I
let me
mean,
know.
let me tell you something. It'll probably be like more like an 8 hour. I'm not gonna do the 11, 12. Like
Oh, okay.
that shit. That shit is Wow.
or new
Like
stars.
I don't
Yeah.
know if I could. I don't know if I could talk about enough shit to keep everybody
You let
occupied.
it flow. It's like a barbershop. You let it flow. You have a
Yeah.
certain number of points you want to hit throughout the conversation, and you get your points off. You let other people get their points off, and you just let it flow,
Okay.
barbershop
Well.
style.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go into final statements for this particular topic. I
Okay.
applaud you. I applaud you, gentlemen, for coming up to the panel. And really, what you did was you reinforced a lot of the shit I was saying earlier. So you, you, you kind of make it easy for me. But it just shows the intelligent delivery, that we are all able to have over here on this particular channel, and
Mhm.
within the habitual line stepper. So, whichever one of y'all want to go first.
Let me rock it. Let me rock it. Thanks for the sharpening, brothers. Long live the habitual line steppers.
Long live.
Yeah.
Long live.
As far as we go with the generational cursing, it just makes me think of one phrase: "The hate you give little infants fucks everybody."
Woo.
You know what I mean?
Eh.
Mhm.
That's thug life in its essence, in an aspect
Mhm.
of not preparing the later generations for the bullshit, the traps, the obstacles that you had to face that you didn't like. You know what I'm saying? I think, as Z said, it comes to us acknowledging that there are changes within the society that are detrimental. Even though, let's
Mhm.
say, you might have found your pocket of the American dream, you can't expect your pocket to reflect the value of everyone's citizenry or status within the
Mhm.
society of your dream. You know what I mean? That being said, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Shit get a whole lot of black pilly around this time. So, and when
Hey,
it
we
comes
throw
to
the
the
red pill out. We use the black pill now. Straight
yeah,
objective.
because when it comes to the black pill, all you can do is accept. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's like when the machines finally broke into Zion at the Matrix. You might not want it to fight, but the motherfuckers coming through that hole, cuz. You know what I'm
You
saying?
gotta.
Shit
You
gonna get real.
better pick up a fucking railgun.
Already, cuz. Get the bullets ready. Hey, hey,
Is
y'all
it a
take care of
real
yourself.
gun?
I'll see
Mhm.
y'all in these YouTube streets. Respect, y'all.
All right.
All right. And that was Rogish the Build Monger. Check him out on his channel. And we have another content creator, Black in Effect, Mr. Z. Go ahead with your final statement, sir.
Thanks for having me up, Kev. And adding on to what Rogus said, and I'm gonna completely butcher this quote, but it's the one about it's an African proverb where it's something like the child that feels abandoned or neglected by the village will burn it down just to feel its warmth. And I think a lot of older heads just really underestimate how much more difficult it is. So yes, we didn't have to go through overt Jim Crow. We didn't have to be forced bust. This is correct. Um, but the game just got a whole lot slicker. White boy don't gotta call you nigger to your face if his parents just make sure you never go to the good schools where he lives, right? Like, and it's not about you. It's not about being around the white kids. It's about the resources that they hoard in their communities, right? And while they're draining your community, right? So that's what I would try to implore the elders to understand. When it comes to younger folks, my age and younger, 35 and younger, definitely 25 and younger, understand that there's a whole big world out there and things are changing super fast. Super fast. I was born in 86. That wasn't a million years ago. There was no social media. Cell phones were not a thing, right? In just over the span of the past 17 or so years, we got cell phones. We Everybody got a cell phone. And cell phones were already starting to be a thing in the 80s, but everybody has a cell phone now in the 21st century. Everybody has some type of social media account somewhere, right? That's how much the world has changed just over the past less than 20 years, really, because it didn't even start in 2000. So you unfortunately you're going to have to be quicker on your feet than even I had to be at 25. than my parents had to be at 25. And that's asking a lot for human beings, right? So that would be my advice to the younger kids, younger people. Once again, thanks for having me up, Kev. Um, it's unfortunate that the black community finds itself in this position. Some of it is self-inflicted. A lot of it is coming from outside forces, and the combination of the two is just horrid. Um, I think we can alleviate a lot of this pain by responding appropriately, but eventually we're gonna have to go knock on Mr. Charlie's door um and with the Thule because with the shit that he got going on in the neighborhood, right? And I'll end with that. Thanks for having me up again, Kev.
All right. All right, Mr. Z. Once again, I appreciate your perspective. Very well delivered and uh, lacking in. Yeah, yeah. I would say that your perspective is lacking in nonsense. So that right there is a good thing. So I appreciate you coming up. And we all need to lack in nonsense, if you ask me. And I mean, just adopt what I was saying at the beginning, common sense. I think one thing that I would say that old heads or whatever really did not prepare the younger for is the ability to adapt to all these changes. Uh, we gave we and I mean, they gave us one basic layout, and then us as Gen Xers, we encourage the layout instead of saying, "Hey, you know what? Exploit your talents, exploit your skills, and do it that way." You know, we had a lot of people the previous to us telling us that that was just a dream that had little chance of happening. But once you see it work for so many people, it really does cause that kind of resentment. But it's just like I said, generation, no generation, shit. After 18, you're pretty much responsible for what your destiny is. You know, I mean, the law set it up that way, and culturally we set it up that way. So I would say pretty much deal with it because all of us have to now, as far as uh, us healing and coming back from setbacks that divided us, like as far as the generational level. Is there a chance to heal? I mean, of course there is. There's always a chance, but that chance is getting smaller and smaller each day. So you can sit up there and you can continue to play all you want about conversations like these and all these warning signs that we keep trying to give you, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're headed for disaster. We all are. So divide it according to that shit all you want. Shout out to Rael. I see you down there. After 18 or before, if really like, if you want to be brutally honest, I mean, people can mature at pretty much any of the latter ages. I would say you have some mature 16-year-olds and mature 17-year-olds. That's not being suggestive or anything, because I know how y'all like when we got started to get to talking about age. I know how some people get love to twist the truth and shit. What I'm saying is, we have to give people credit for common sense where the common sense is. And there's a lot of teenagers that got a lot of more common sense than a lot of adults, and that's a really sad fucking thing. You know. But what I'm saying is, what we should have offered everybody was the ability to adapt and to overcome. Because right now, what it really boils down to is, yeah, your ability to adapt and to overcome. If something is a problem and it continues to linger to be a problem, you have to discover the way to solve that problem, even if it's within yourself. Remember what I said before I leave this broadcast. Uh, uh, Gayogami, what's going on? Gilgamy, yeah, it's however you pronounce it. Uh, yeah, however you slice it. I always say this, and I said it earlier. You are the first person to observe what you do. So you can't really, at the end of the day, bullshit yourself. You can't sit up there and blame everybody else. You can't. And that's me saying that as a Gen Xer. I can't go around blaming everybody for everything because of what didn't happen in those previous generations. I understand what situation I am, so I can adapt to it and I can overcome it. So, there. Uh, Let me read Gilgamy's comment, and then I'm gonna go ahead and end with that. Said, I think if Ados man started that en masse in the early 80s, you could have saved a large part of the millennials, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha of this day at Rael. And I got to read Rael's comment because of that. Rael, young, middle age, and even older black men with disposable income need to completely abandon this black community stuff and be out for self first, which means explore the world and think on a global scale. Um, yeah, I agree. If we had did that first, black men of, I would say black men of quality would have gravitated toward each other anyway. But yeah, I would say it's about time we start to just admit to the truth. And the truth of the matter is, whatever hope we have left is going to be very slow moving. Might as well do things that are a little faster and more good for yourself. And maybe one day we'll get it together. Even if you want to blame the previous generations for you having to work that much more diligently. But if you do, the only thing I can tell you is you'll be better in the end for it. And I'll end there. Thanks for everybody who showed up in the chat. Thanks for everybody who showed up, on the panel, Mr. Z and Rogish. Thank you for being very helpful to the program. And I will see you guys tomorrow night. Uh, I'm sleepy, so all right. Thank you once again. Long live the habitual line steppers. In Kev we trust. Let's be better about this, black man. And just as I see you guys next go round. Peace.